Perfect Cocktail Pursuits is an entertaining, behind-the-scenes peek at cocktail culture. Since 2010, I've traveled the globe pursuing the perfect cocktail. I showcase the creative excellence of this exciting industry. Welcome to Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano, and I'm your host. My special guest today is Jomaree Pinkard. Before I introduce you, Jomaree, I want to talk about the fact that we are getting cocktails from the Black House by Sorrel. Jack from Brooklyn has been so generous to host Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. I've been finding quiet corners all over the house, but let me tell you, that's a chore because there's a party every other hour. It's really spectacular here. Welcome to Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. Thank you for joining us.
So much for having me.
Cheers.
I'm honored.
So my cocktail, I know it has passion fruit in it. I believe it might be a Don Q cocktail as well. How about yours? What's in your drink?
Let's just say that mine has a lot of tequila. Let's start there, and thank you for having me.
It's delightful to host you. So anyway, usually what we do at Perfect Cocktail Pursuits is we start with making a cocktail, and we do a little cocktail demonstration. But when you're at Tales of the Cocktail, there are cocktails abound. So you don't need to make cocktails. You go pick one up, you come sit down, and you have an interview. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you here.
It's a pleasure. And I remember us meeting last year around this time at the Uncle Nearest house. So I am honored to sit next to you.
I'm delighted. You know, not only did we meet last year at the Uncle Nearest house, but I reached out to you years ago because you are the face of Hella Cocktail Company. And I saw you in an American Express commercial, and I reached out to you on social media, and I was like, you know what? I need to know who this man is. And so, you know, I'm not shy. You know, I asked the question, hi, where are you from? What's your name? And we became acquainted by social media first because, you know, it's magic. But then we met in person. And yes, you're right. The Uncle Nearest house was the place to be last year. All of that to say, I'm delighted you're here. As much as I love the fact that you have a really smashing brand in Hella Cocktail, I want to talk about the Pronghorn Initiative Company. Tell me how you pronounce it.
Pronghorn.
Just Pronghorn.
Just Pronghorn.
Pronghorn.
Yeah.
Please tell me about Pronghorn because you've made a huge splash since last year. Tell me about it. What is it?
Absolutely.
Why do I want to be part of Pronghorn?
Well, Pronghorn is this amazing venture that's all about creating a template to diversify any industry. We just happen to be starting with the Black American and the spirits industry. You know, we consume so much alcohol pro rata to the population, which is very interesting. For instance, 12 to 14% of the population is African American.
Okay.
And about 12 to 14% of consumption is from African Americans. However,
we're not all drinking.
We are all drinking. However, we are not owners of any of the brands for the most part, and we're not represented in the workforce. Here are the numbers. There have been 0 acquisitions to date of any African-American owned brands, except for one who happens to be a recent acquisition, and that person's name is Jay-Z. So unless you're Jay-Z in the spirits industry, you have not had a liquidity event. 1 point. Second point is, as far as the workforces go, the talent inside of our industry is less than 8% of the workforce. Moreover, less than 2% at the executive level is Black or women. So what that means is that there needs to be a ton of reconciliation that makes up for this idea that we're very much a participant in the trade, in the industry, but not a beneficiary.
Got it.
And so Pronghorn's mandate is to diversify this industry first with a few simple ideas that are based around those numbers to get them to par, if you will.
Right.
So Pronghorn is set up to have, let's take a step back about what, you asked me what was the name? What's it called?
What? Yeah, exactly.
What the hell is a pronghorn? What the hell is a pronghorn?
Well, no, when I saw you, I was like,
I was like, those are not devil horns, right? You're like, no, the pronghorn. I was like, I got you. But the pronghorn is an animal. The pronghorn is the second fastest land animal in the world, only to the cheetah. In a sprint of a few minutes, a cheetah will wipe the floor with a pronghorn anytime.
Okay.
But in a marathon, a pronghorn will win every single time because a pronghorn can run and traverse landscapes for hundreds of miles at a time, about 50 miles per hour, right? So not only can they move fast over time,
Right.
they also have a wide vision range, 320 degrees of vision, super agile and clearly endurance are key kind of features of the pronghorn. And so the pronghorn really exemplifies this idea of what we're trying to do, which is move with pace, but we know we have a long journey.
And you're the CEO of Pronghorn, is that correct?
Correct. Met the founders of Pronghorn about a year ago, Dia Sims, Erin Harris, and Dan Sanborn, who helped kind of ideate and commercialize the idea. And then we met almost like kismet, almost like you and I met. Boom. I was doing a lot of this work on the Hella front, building community, showing places like this, and
Right.
building bridges. And they were looking for someone who had that criteria, but also understood brand building.
Got it.
Right. So that makes a lot of sense. Since our mandate is to help entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs find their way in their journey, knowing that the pronghorn takes time and speed to get it done. And so the pronghorn exemplifies these two kind of horns that we are focused on, which are investing in entrepreneurs and investing in intrapreneurs.
Intrapreneurs, define intrapreneur.
Sure. Entrepreneur is someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset who just happens to work for a company.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
So you think about your big supplier brands, your big distributors, the people who are rock stars in those places, who are executives, who are VPs, who are middle management, but do really well, also entrepreneurs by their kind of soul, right? They just happen to work for a company. That's fine. But we call them entrepreneurs because they have to have an entrepreneurial mindset to succeed in a place with a ton of talent as well.
Right.
Right. So
at any moment, an entrepreneur can turn into an entrepreneur.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
Right?
Got you.
And we're trying, and so Pronghorn is here to kind of like reshuffle or recalibrate the ecosystem at large, the entire value chain, if you will, right? Because we want to make sure we invest in amazing entrepreneurs in their brands, like you've seen some today, and help them push forward with pace without making the trial and error decision that costs a lot of time, energy, and capital.
Money when your capital especially is so tight,
right?
As you're getting started.
Especially
so like I said, Pronghorn really reached my consciousness over the last year, maybe even over the last 6 months. When did you spring?
January. Yeah.
Okay, got you. That's a good memory. What do you see the completion of your first year? What do you feel like I have handled this first year? What have you accomplished by your anniversary?
Yeah, I think the things that come to mind that are true testaments of whether or not it's working are a few. Whether or not we've built a robust internal team, because if you don't have an internal team to be able to service the mandate, you're kind of like, you can't capture all the opportunities. So one is like having an amazing team that could not only understand the journey of an entrepreneur, but also understand the journey of talent that wants to enter the system, right? To understand. So we've hired people from the venture side, folks from the talent and recruiting side to mesh into our industry to be true service providers of the industry. And kind of almost like agnostic to the suppliers or distributors to make sure that we become the plug or the glue for talent either way into the space. And
I've seen your website. I signed up on your website. I put my dream job on the Pronghorn website. And what your website very clearly said, was it pronghorn.com? Right on.
Pronghorn.co.
But
close. We're close.
Okay, pronghorn.co. What it said very clearly was, please post your resume, post the kind of job you're looking for. If it isn't here, it will be. And that's a really powerful statement. So I think that you are going to be able to gather the best talent. I think that that's going to be a great resource to really direct your business.
Listen, there's a ton of talent there. I think the matter of the fact is that a lot of people know the brands that we consume, but they don't know the holding companies or the big distributors that really, create the system itself and influence it. And so our job is to bring awareness to those roles. This industry that we all are so fortunate to be a part of is very lucrative, right? And the talent workforce, it's in the six figures, your average job salary. Most people don't know that. So our job is to amplify that so that we can become, again, the plug or the glue so that we are the beacons. Okay, if we don't know where the talent is, let us help you find them. Because they belong, their opinions and expressions belong represented and echoed into the brands that we consume.
Well, I mean, the reality is the more diverse your workforce, the more diverse your reach is into bringing business toward you.
And that is the final component of the problem. That DEI or underrepresented is not charity. It is commercially successful. Yes. This is an opportunity that if you don't take it, you have an opportunity cost, which is much more expensive than actually doing the job, which is reflecting the community you serve, both intentionally, both spiritually and kind of humane, but also dollars and cents. Right. There's nothing wrong with making money the right way. Exactly. And so Pronghorn has kind of set the tone for diversifying an industry that's not around DEI equaling charity, but DEI equaling investment in underrepresented and opportunistic kind of,
not only
venture.
Being visible, not only being acknowledged, but being involved and responsible and for the success. Right. Exactly.
So to your question, when the 1 year anniversary of myself, we've had our 1 year anniversary, but when it's for 1 year for me, I'll start to know that those tractions are even further down the road.
Oh, I see. I got it. So it will be 1 year. You started in January.
I started in January. Our 1 year fiscal ended in June 30th, and those KPIs are amazing. We've invested in 20 Black-owned brands. We've invested over $10 million in 20 Black-owned brands in less than 1 year. And we've helped over 50 individuals get jobs in the industry in less than 1 year. So our goals are over 50 brands to invest in and over 1,800 individuals in the space, and we're on our way.
I'm going to be one of those people.
Just submit your resume. I think you know someone.
I think I know someone. It's more than a pleasure to host you today, Jomaree. I really appreciate you joining us for Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. I really feel like I've had a chance to really understand what Pronghorn is all about. And, it felt kind of mysterious to me, and it kind of like the petals of the rose seemed to be opening, blooming, as it were. But now I really get it. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. And hopefully we'll have an update for you shortly.
I can't wait. Well, this is Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano, and I'm your host. This is Jomaree Pinkard. And he is not only the creator of Hella Cocktail Company, but he is also the CEO of Pronghorn. We're delighted you've come to join us, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me for Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. If you enjoyed today's episode, let's connect. Like, follow, share. I look forward to seeing you soon.